This Coast to Coast Entertainment Network program is brought to you by Beside Me Bracelets. Our bracelets are handmade for any occasion. Use the promo code Coast to Coast for 15% off. Visit their website at besideme.com. Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry. With 24-hour shopping available, use the code 160920 and show her some love, like she showed us. Reaper Apparel Company, a commitment to live your most authentic way every single day. Visit reaperapparelco.com for more information and a look at all of their apparel offerings. And by Good Day Embroidery, your local source for custom embroidery, screen printing, and more. Log on to gooddayembroidery.com for more information.
All right, everybody. Hello. Welcome to On Deck, the second season premiere. Season 2. Can you believe it already? Here with me is Chris Mabry. Is one that runs everything behind, and also you can see him on so many shows. I think we'll go through. How are you, Chris?
I'm doing good. Yeah, baseball season's back. Seems like it went too quick. But we're back, and it should be a fun season.
Yeah, have to give props to you and yours for the Texas Rangers defeating the Arizona Diamondbacks. I believe was it 5 games?
I think it was 5 games.
I think it was. I watched every game, but man, when it goes back in time, it's like, man, I can't remember it all. I would have to watch it all over again or see what happened. But
I don't know if Diamondbacks will do that. Diamondback fans would do that.
I think it was a chore for them just to get there. I mean, when you think about it, Arizona wasn't supposed to be there. They were maybe slated as a third-place team last year, and they shocked it. I think as the Rangers were too. Both got there. It was kind of a shock. I think everybody wanted someone else to get there. And everybody was surprised by the results. Having Arizona and Texas there, it wasn't a popular World Series, but guess what? If you're, a real fan, you won't care who makes it. Well, you hope certain teams don't make it, but you're just hoping for a great series. But it was a cool postseason. Seeing how Arizona dethroned the Dodgers the way they did, and then how Texas went through Houston. It was so just surprising. And again, credit to the Texas Rangers. Win the 2023 World Series. If you have that graphic real quick, Chris, for our shows, maybe we could put that on for the network, and I could go through it.
There we go. Come up and just.
So I know for Saturdays now, we'll have On Deck here.
Yeah, I got
at 11 a.m., 10 a.m., whenever I prop up. Press Row will be coming back very soon. Probably the 18th, right? Yeah. With Callum McClurg there, so check out that. Bro Code on Mondays, CTC in the morning Tuesday, Between the Ropes at night on Tuesday, Sports Minute Wednesday, Crippin' It Real every other Thursday. They just had one this last Thursday, so check them out on the 28th. Yep. When, of course, opening day is for MLB. Kicking It Thursdays without Isaiah this week. I wonder how that went. Entertainment Hour will be back on Fridays. Now, of course, here On Deck on Saturday. And then Sundays, Morning Tailgate. We'll see when that comes back. We had a frenzy of a free agency and a retirement of Aaron Donald. Shout out to him. That was crazy. Yeah, and I'm sure we'll have an off-season special or a draft special. For Morning Tailgate or a draft special by itself. I think that'd be real cool. All right, so let's get to business. For the off-season moves. Well, first, let's mention the 3 players that are not signed yet in a surprise way. First, let's get rid of one, JD Martinez. Now, this dude is older. He's a glorified DH. He doesn't play the outfield well. It seems like he wanted a lot of money, but teams weren't giving them out in years. And no one has signed him yet. He's been rumored to the Angels. I know the Giants were interested in him, but the price tag was too much. It's just amazing to see. Blake Snell. Now, this one's interesting because he's been rumored to the Angels, to the Giants, to the Yankees, but not his hometown Seattle Mariners. It's weird. And I heard even the Dodgers, too. But he's still out there. Maybe he'll sign this upcoming week. Who knows? But now the Astros are interested in him. And you have to wonder if it's just like a 1-year or 2-year deal instead of getting, what he wants and what his agent Scott Boras wants, which is a long-term deal. We have to see if that's the case. Jordan Montgomery, who last year was a world champion with the Texas Rangers. He wants a 7-year deal, and he's 31 years old. But he wants, $250 million? Teams aren't willing to give that out now. It seems like they're giving the younger players more looks than the older players. Unless the older players go on 1 or 2 or 3-year deals, they're not looking long term. That's why we have this little blockage here. I'll ask you, Chris. When do you think these three guys sign? We saw Adam Duvall finally get signed a 1-year deal with the Atlanta Braves. But what do you think for Martinez, Snell, and Montgomery, who's been linked to Boston, Texas, and I heard also the Dodgers?
Man, it's kind of like with other sports, NFL, basketball, hockey, whatever it may be. I kind of feel like any available free agents would probably sign to teams, not everybody, but most of them, after camp breaks or, before the season. If there's injuries, you'll probably find those type of players on a roster towards the start of the season just to replace injured players.
Yeah, we see this sometimes in, I think more in football. We'll see someone, like Joe Flacco come off the couch, throwing Nerf balls to his kids, and all of a sudden he becomes comeback player of the year with the Cleveland Browns. We saw that in the NFL. So maybe it's a thing with these guys, with Snell, with Montgomery, because we know starters are very important. An old DH like Martinez, I don't know. But the starting pitching is always important. So if one links up, it'll probably be, like I said, a short-term deal, 1 or 2 or 3 years, or not even that. It is reminiscent of the spring training in March of 19, when Bryce Harper and Manny Machado signed late. But these are big figures. And they were, of course, third basemen and right fielders, or center fielders at the time. But they signed late for big contracts. I don't have the feeling these guys are going to sign for big. JD Martinez, like I mentioned, turned down, I think, $20 million from the Giants, thinking he could get more. And there's a possibility where it's like a 1-year, $5 million deal, but nothing else. So let's get to some moves that happened in the offseason, Chris, where we saw some Pirates make some moves recently to players off the radar, but it was kind of I think shocking that they lasted this long. They got a position playing reliever, but they also got a Aroldis Chapman. Of course, you knew him last year
From Oakland?
from the Texas Rangers.
Okay, yeah.
He's part of your bullpen now. He's with the Pittsburgh Pirates. They also made some other moves like they did last year, which is kind of respectable in a way. But first, I think all eyes we have to focus on Shohei Ohtani. He left the Angels, went to the Dodgers like I
How do you
predicted.
feel about that?
Well, first I'll look at the contract, right? And I'll say, okay, it was like what, 10 years or 12 years, 700 million, right?
Right.
But it was deferred. So that means like, okay, he's only making like 2.5 million each year, right? Or 2 million each year for the first I think 7 or 8 years. And then later on you're going to have to pay him crazy amount of money later on, $50 million a year, which is crazy for someone, his age later on. Like the Dodgers going to have to deal with that.
So having the contract deferred, it means it rolls over, or
No. That means okay. So right now, instead of getting 40 million a year or whatever, he's only getting like 2 million a year, so he can help the Dodgers out and get more players. And then later on, you'll have to pay him the rest of the money each year.
Oh, so it's like a reimbursement.
Yeah, pretty much. Where it's just like, hey, you'll get the money, but later on,
give me part of the contract. We'll get you the rest later, and
yeah. But you're helping us. You're helping the Dodgers go out and get little pieces, like you saw this offseason. They made some trades that we'll get to, but he wouldn't do this for the Angels if he signed there. If he signed back with the Angels. Because he's seen this franchise, his back is hurting. So you knew he was not going to do anything like that with the Angels. It would have to be a team that he knows is trying to win and doing it by any cost. And you saw that with Shohei. So I feel like the contract is too much anyway. And then think about this. In 3 to 5 years, he might have to have that decision as a two-way player to go to one way. So either a pitcher or he would be a pinch hitter.
Well, isn't he going one way because of injury this year?
Yeah, so for 2024, because of the elbow surgery he had in the offseason, he will not be pitching. Instead,
He'll just be hitting.
The DH. Yeah, he'll be a DH. But in 2025, he'll be back to the two-way starter. Just amazing, again, what he's been able to do. It's amazing just what has happened, honestly, with that contract. And, again, the first $700 million professional player to get that contract like that. What was your reaction when you saw that to the Dodgers?
I knew he was going to be in LA. I just didn't know what part, pretty much. Will he be with the Dodgers? Would it be, coming back to the, Angels? I wasn't sure about it, but whatever made him the best option, for him, is probably the best option for him. That's kind of how I felt.
Yeah, it was amazing just to see that, and I just knew he was going to the Dodgers, but I didn't think it was going to be for that much. But when you think about it, the money he's going to make in those last 5 years or whatever, that'll be the norm for then in the future. Everything's going to eventually go up unless baseball has a horrible drought or something, and then the sport just dissolves in 50 years. That'll be the norm, the money that he gets. So they're just avoiding the inevitable right now. But Shohei, you saw just be unselfish in that way, saying, okay, I want to win so bad because of all the horrible years that I had to go through in Anaheim. I want to go to a winner. All right, so let's get to some offseason signings real quick. So Matt Chapman was one of those free agents that were out there for a while. Finally signed a 3-year, $54 million contract with the San Francisco Giants. That deal, though, includes opt-outs in the first and second year. So, in a sense, it's a 1-year deal if he balls out. Just like Cody Bellinger with the Cubs, he finalized a 3-year deal worth $80 million and has opt-outs just like Chapman. So, it might look like a long-term deal, but really, if they ball out and somebody thinks he's worth it, they can opt out and get more somewhere else or stay with the team. I was shocked, though, that these guys, again, went that far into spring training. What was your reaction when Chapman, who was offered more, these guys were both offered more, but settled for what they did? What was your reaction to that?
Ooh, like I said, depending on their option, whatever they wanted to do, I'm just surprised that they didn't want to stick with, their team, the team they rode with last year. I know it's about money. I understand that. But especially when you have somebody like Chapman, who you just won a world, on a team where you just won the World Series, I would have thought he'd say, you know what, let's run it back again.
Yeah, Chapman, of course, was with the Blue Jays the last couple of years. He was traded to Oakland, or from Oakland to Toronto. And the Blue Jays actually offered him more, and he didn't take it earlier in the offseason. Instead, he settled with the Giants. And then Bellinger back with the Cubs. Could have had more, too. And it could have been with the Cubs. But instead, again, he took less. Some other moves, Clayton Kershaw will come back with the Dodgers for another season. Maybe his last. Who knows? But he'll start the season, I think, on a delay from injury. Corbin Burnes was traded from Milwaukee to Baltimore, and turned out to be a really good deal. They didn't give up too much, only on a rental deal here. Jock Peterson goes from the Giants to the National League champion Arizona Diamondbacks. That was also a good deal. Your Texas Rangers got David Robertson, a reliever, 1 year, between $11 and $12 million. He's that piece that will replace Chapman. Rhys Hoskins, who missed all of last year, he got hurt in spring training. He went to Milwaukee. The Angels, well, they just signed a bunch of relievers. Matt Moore, Robert Stevenson, and then they kind of went frugal with the spending of the infielders and outfielders, but nothing really too much. Joey Gallo, if you remember him with the Rangers, he keeps bouncing around. He went to the Nationals. The Astros got Josh Hader, the best closer on the market. He was a Padre. Jordan Hicks went to the San Francisco Giants. It seems like he went pretty quick there. Marcus Stroman went to the New York Yankees on a 2-year deal. Let's see. The Cubs went out and got Japanese player Shota Aminaga. He got a 4-year deal, the lefty, to help their loss of Stroman there. The Dodgers, though, man, they got Toscar Hernandez, He's an outfielder there. They also traded for Tyler Glasnow from the Rangers. Sean Mania went to the Giants. The Giants also. Mania went to the Mets. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The Giants and the Mariners made a trade. Robbie Ray went to the Giants. Haneker went back to the Mariners. Harrison Bader went from the Cardinals to the Mets after he was a Yankee. And Chris Sale went from the Braves, or went to the Braves from the Red Sox. That was a kind of surprising move. We're wondering how that will do. And the bad part about free agency is getting someone and they just got hurt. So Lucas Giolito had a 2-year deal, but he's out for the season. I think for the season here. By the way, Garrett Cole will be out. I think he'll be back in 10 or 12 weeks, but he also has an elbow injury for the New York Yankees. Reminder, he won the Cy Young last year. Mitch Garver went to the Mariners from the Rangers. The Padres pick up a bullpen arm with Yoki Matsui on a 5-year, $28 million deal. That's not too bad there. He might be a closer. And then the Dodgers. They got star right-handed starting pitcher Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And he's one of Shohei's best friends. So it came just all in a surprise right there when that happened. Andrew McCutchen will come back with the Pirates. He needs one more home run for 300. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. went back to the Arizona Diamondbacks, the left-hander, or the left fielder, I mean. That was really good. The Royals went out and spent some money. That was amazing to me. Michael Wacha went there, as well as Hunter Renfroe and Seth Lugo. And again, the Dodgers with Tyler Glasnow going there from the Rays. Margot was traded to the outfielder to the Twins. Jack Flaherty went to the Tigers. Tyler Mahle went to the Rangers, a starting pitcher. So that might mean that, again, Montgomery's out of the picture there.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with that. Left-hander, and I think we'll end it at this one. Will Smith went to the Kansas City Royals on a 1-year deal. Again,
you're saying there's a chance.
Again, what was it? He's won the last 3 World Series everywhere he's went on 1-year deals, if I believe that's right.
And with the team that went to the World Series.
Yeah. Juan Soto acquired Juan Soto. He has one more season left before his big contract. From the Padres, he went to the Yankees in an array of pitchers, and the catcher went to San Diego. Eduardo Rodriguez went to the Diamondbacks, a starting pitcher. Craig Kimbrell went to the Orioles. That's a closer. Verdugo went from the Red Sox to the Yankees in a rare trade between those two. Chris Davinsky went to the Rays. He was an Angel. Jared Kelenic and Marco Gonzalez, who ended up on the Pirates, went from Seattle to Atlanta. Nick Martinez went to the Reds in much-needed pitching. Luis Severino went to the Mets. Sonny Gray, who got injured, unfortunately, but I think he'll be back for the Cardinals. He was assigned starter there. Kenta Maeda went to the Tigers. That's another starter. And then Seattle traded Eugenio Suarez from the Mariners to the Diamondbacks. Kyle Gibson went to St. Louis, as well as Lance Lynn. Lance Lynn was the one giving up all those home runs to the Dodgers. From the Dodgers to the Diamondbacks last year. And then the Phillies went out and signed Aaron Nola, and Zach Wheeler to new starting pitching deals. I mean, that was amazing to see there. So, let's see. Again, I mentioned for the Angels, They went out. They got relievers, but they didn't really spend on starting pitching, which is awful. They did get Zach Plesac, but he's now a injured player, but he's trying to make it back up to the majors. They did get Aaron Hicks, the outfielder, but the Yankees are paying for it. All the Angels have to do is pay for the league minimum. Maybe some infielders. They got Hunter Dozier we could talk about, but that's pretty much it. So what did the Rangers do in the offseason, Chris?
Kind of like most, well, probably pitching help is the main thing. But after that, I don't know. It doesn't sound like they're going to do anything else, so that I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know they went out and got some pitching help, but they did lose Mitch Garver, unfortunately. But it seems like they have enough to compete to come back, I think. Not to the World Series. Probably not NL champion or AL champion. But maybe to get back into the playoffs as a wild card. We'll see. Because our division, the West, it seems like everybody has taken a step down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least for Seattle has taken a step down. The Angels have kind of really taken a step back without Shohei, and then Oakland's Oakland. But I think it just ends up like the two Texas teams again. I don't know. Maybe there's a World Series hangover, but hopefully not for your case. All right, so let's get to spring training, our team reports. I'll start for you, Chris. How are the Texas Rangers looking? Anybody looking good? Anybody looking suspect? And how are they doing?
It seems like they're doing pretty good. Winning, I know spring training or preseason in general, there's not a lot to look off of to preview this season, but so far they're looking good. Seems like everybody's healthy to a certain point. Holding my breath on that statement. Hopefully I did not, jinx anything. No broadcasting jinx here. But as far as I know, everything's looking good.
For the Angels, they're 11-9 in spring training play. They're trying for the three-peat, for the best record in the spring, whatever.
Should there be an award for that?
Would you imagine that? A cactus. You get like a cactus, a glass cactus or something. It's almost as irrelevant. Well, no, it's more relevant than the NBA Summer League trophy that they get. But I think that's more cooler, definitely, than this. For the Angels, though, they have the starting rotation. It's just like last year. There's a lot of disappointments in it. Tyler Anderson, in the second year of his free agency deal out of 3, he's got to learn not to try to throw that non-fastball down the middle, mix his off-speed going. The bullpen, Stevenson again got hurt, but hopefully that he'll be ready to go. And we have to manufacture the bullpen. Estevez was the closer last year, and he will be this year, but had a great first half and then a horrible second half. So we'll see how he comes out of here. Everybody's ERAs are really high. You could blame Arizona for that, maybe. Miguel Sanu, who I didn't mention, but he's one of the players that are on the cusp of making the team. We'll see if he does. He can, I think, mix up playing third and first. He dropped 55 pounds. Remember, that was Big B's guy in Minnesota. Remember, he kept complaining about him, striking out all the time. And he has 3 home runs this year with the Angels. And again, he's trying to make the team, and it'll be fun to see if he does. He's hit some moonshots this year for the Angels so far. Brennan Drury's done well. Trout has been making out a lot this year. Again, it seems like he's regressing away, trying to catch up to fastballs. If you throw it middle high, it seems like he'll strike out a lot. Man, it's amazing. But I do like the fact that they have Rod Washington there. You know him, of
Yeah, he's
course,
pretty good. Yeah.
from the days with the Rangers and World Series appearances. He's been coaching with the Braves third base and instructing the infielders, a lot there with Atlanta, and he's beloved. I'm just happy that my prediction came through with him going to the Angels. I was very happy about that. He's there on a 2-year deal. I'm just hoping that the young players, learn from him of how to be a major leaguer. That's all I can hope for. I really, really would hope that would be the case, and how to fundamentally be good. Remember, the Angels were really bad with the infield errors last year. They were really, really bad.
Right.
So I think Washington will help in that case. But man, they just got to get more runs than usual. But without Shohei, that's going to be a tough, tough task. We'll see what happens. Nolan Shinuel, he's a good first baseman. Remember, he was drafted last season by the Angels and then brought up in September or August, excuse me. No. I think it was. No, it wasn't August. And he had a great base streak going where he would get on anytime. He only hit a home run, but hey, he's not one guy to supply the power. But he put on 15 pounds of muscle just like Joe Odell did. Joe Odell, he is a all or nothing player. He's a wild card when it comes to the offense, or with the offense, but also with the defense. Right? Mm-hmm. He can hit the ball a long way, but his defense is suspect, and then he's part of the 5-man outfield. So they have a crowded outfield with the Angels, and he has no more options. So you can't send him down. You can bench him, but that's pretty much it. So we'll see what happens if he ends up leaving. But that's the outfield. I mean, that's the spring training reports. So let's get our predictions in. Let's lock those in for the standings and awards for the season. So for our divisional winners, let's go through them step by step here. All right. So for me, for the AL East, okay. So I'm going to go Baltimore wins the division. I'm going to go with the Cole injury missing almost 2 months. I think that's really going to hurt the Yankees, but they'll have the offense. But man, Toronto looks good as well. So I don't know what to think about that. So I'll go Toronto second, the Yankees third, the Rays fourth, and then the Red Sox with all their issues in last place. How do you see the AL East going, Chris?
I don't know. I mean, with all the signings and stuff, it just depends on how all that works out. I don't know if there's going to be much of a change. I'm going to go Toronto 1.
Okay.
I'm just going to say, yeah.
That would be good for them because they have yet to really, really be great. Like, they have pieces there, like Vladdy Jr., all of the sons of old players. They have all that they have, but something always keeps them back. Like, they can't make the wild card like last year. They have unfortunate things happen to them. But hopefully they can take that next step forward. All right, for the AL Central, this one is pretty tough because you have teams that really aren't that good, but someone has to win the division. Minnesota did last year. I'll say they win it again. I'm going to go Cleveland second, I'm going to go Kansas City third, which is crazy, but I think they made enough moves to make it happen. Detroit fourth, not enough. They still don't have enough. They're waiting for the young guys to come up. And the White Sox are going to be a mess in Chicago. So those are my predictions for the Central. How do you see that Central going in the AL, Chris?
Yeah, it seems like this is a division that no one wants to win, I feel like. And you're saying the Central, correct?
Yeah.
AL Central?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm thinking Minnesota takes it this year in that division. Cleveland second. We'll go Detroit, Kansas City, and like you said, Chicago is going to be at the bottom of the list.
And Chicago already made some trades. Dylan Cease, I forgot to mention, Dylan Cease was traded from the White Sox to the Padres. The Padres gave up 3 prospects. He will not be, I don't think, on that trip, or starting, on that trip to Seoul, Korea. He will not be. But you best believe he'll be, number 3 in that rotation, I believe, for San Diego. All right, for the AL West, our division, I see it going just like last year. Houston winning the division, Texas second, Seattle third, the Angels fourth, and then Oakland in fifth. But I do believe at one point or another, Oakland will be in fourth. The Angels will be in last. I just have that eerie feeling,
You think
3 months into the season, the Angels are that bad and Oakland is off to a decent start. But eventually, the Angels will get that 4th place start like always. How do you think our division will go?
Yeah, so I'm kind of like you in this first in 2 parts of it. That Houston's going to take it. Houston's going to take the division. When you have a team like that, they seem like they're a really good team, and it makes the division tougher in a good way, but tough, for the other teams in that division, to succeed. And then on the other part, we agree on that Oakland's probably going to be, at least for right now, on the bottom of the ladder in last place. Doesn't help with the relocation stuff and all that talk. I think they're going to be at the bottom.
What it seems like.
What we kind of disagree on, I think Seattle's going to take second. And then Texas will take third.
Seems like with Seattle, it's weird as heck because they made some questionable moves this year, just trying to cut money, knowing that they're paying Julio Rodriguez. So we'll see what happens with the wild cards. Of course, there's 3 of them.
Yeah.
For me, I'm gonna go Toronto 1. The Yankees 2. And I'm gonna say, Texas as the 3rd wild card. Yeah, I'm gonna go those 3. What's your AL wild cards?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Texas, as a wild card team. No particular order though. Texas will be 1. I'm gonna say Detroit's gonna be 1. And I think you gotta throw in the Yankees.
Yeah.
Sadly.
I know. I wanted to be like last year or whatever. In the National League, in the NL East, I think it's literally a 2-team race, and that's it. I'm gonna go the Braves 1, winning the division. Philly 2nd, Miami 3rd, the Mets 4th, and Washington in last. What do you think?
I'm gonna go Braves number 1, Phillies number 2, Marlins number 3, New York number 4, and then Washington number 5.
Yeah, the Mets just have so many problems. Senga will be out. I think to start the season, to start the season. I don't think he'll be ready for opening day, in my opinion. But they lost a lot of players. They were trying to acquire some players, and it didn't happen. They're just stuck with who they have. I mean, they still. Pete Alonso will be a free agent after next season or after this season. He's a really good first baseman, but
And yes, Detroit has the Tigers. Yes.
yeah. For the NL Central, this is pretty tough. I'm gonna go Cincinnati 1. I think they make the step up. St. Louis number 2, Milwaukee 3, the Cubs 4th, which I'm kind of doubting myself on, and the Pirates in last. I mean, the Cubs could definitely be better than St. Louis and Milwaukee, but this is the way I have it. What do you think?
I'm kind of hoping that they're number 1. I kind of put them at number 1. Cincinnati at 2. St. Louis at number 3. Milwaukee 4, and then Pittsburgh 5.
All right, for the NL West, I think it's pretty simple. The just like last year, the Dodgers winning the West, Arizona 2nd, Padres 3rd, the Giants 4th, and then Colorado in last. What do you think?
I pretty much have that, but I have San Francisco 2nd and San Diego 3rd.
Oh,
But the rest is pretty much the same.
You see Arizona taking a step back.
Not that far, but I see him going 2nd.
Oh, okay. All right. So the wild cards for me for the NL, I'm gonna go Philadelphia. I'm gonna go Arizona and San Diego for mine. What's yours?
I'm hoping I'm right again, or somewhat close to this. I'm gonna go St. Louis, or not St. Louis, San Diego, and I'll go St. Louis. And I think I'll go Philly.
Yeah, Philadelphia just seems to be. Man, they have a lot of good stuff going. All right, for the NL and AL MVPs, I'm gonna go Juan Soto for the Yankees and the NL. For the AL, excuse me. For the NL, I'm going Mookie Betts of the Dodgers. Let's say you.
So before I give mine, J Max saying Marlins will fall off the table.
Yeah.
They will finish, in 5th. Mets in 4. 3rd would be Washington. 2 would be Philadelphia, and Atlanta would be 1. And then he's also saying 1 would be Reds, 2 would be Cubs, 3 Cardinals, 4 Brewers, and 5 Phillies.
I really want the Pirates to shock everyone, but we'll see.
And he's saying Dodgers gross.
Yeah.
D-backs, Padres, Giants, and Rockies.
We all see the same.
Yeah.
All right. So again, my NL MVP Mookie Betts for LA, and then in the AL, is Juan Soto for the Yankees. How do you see the MVPs?
Yeah. So the MVP race is going to be interesting because I think, wasn't it Shohei winning last year?
Yeah, with the Angels, and then I think he's the only MVP to switch teams the following season or that off season. I think he's the only MVP to do that.
I'm going to say MVP would be Juan Soto.
For the AL, for the Yankees.
Yeah.
NL, you're going Shohei?
I'm going to go Shohei, yeah.
Yeah, that could happen. I'm worried about him, though, going to a different league. I know everybody plays everybody, but you're seeing more of the NL than you do the AL.
Right.
So maybe he'll struggle at the beginning.
But it also seems like, at least on the national scale, not necessarily local, that, at least in my area, I see a lot of American League teams. I don't know.
See what happens there. All right,
Yeah.
for the Cy Young Award, for the AL, I'm going to have Garrett Cole of the Yankees, considering that he'll be back. And then Spencer Strider, who added a wicked curveball for the Atlanta Braves as my Cy Young winners. What do you say, Chris?
I'm gonna say, ooh, that's. I'm gonna agree with you. It was kind of a toss-up, but I'm gonna go with your two.
All right, for Rookie of the Year, this is very interesting. For the NL, I'm going Yamamoto from the Dodgers, coming over from Japan. I think he's already fooled some hitters here. He did have one bad start. I believe it was last week. He gave up 6 hits, and it looked bad. But the thing was, it was only infield hits. It wasn't too bad at all. But I think he'll be fine. For the AL, I have a real surprise. And I know one person we all know keeps saying Evan Carter of your Rangers in left field.
Yeah.
But I'm going with another Ranger. And he's one guy tearing up the cover of the ball, hitting like 450 plus this year for his average in spring. But Watt Langford, he's another outfielder that will make his way, and make some room for him on that Ranger squad this year. So I'm going Watt Langford, and I know it's a surprise. It's a long shot with, all the other talent out there, but I'm going with the wild card there. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna go what was it, Yamamoto?
Yeah, for
the
for the Dodgers, yeah.
And I'll go Carter for AL. J Maxine for the NL.
I hope.
Corbin Carroll.
Yeah.
And then for the AL, Aaron Judge.
Hopefully not, but we'll see.
Hopefully not.
It seems like Aaron Judge, he keeps getting beat for that award, but the thing is, Ohtani was there. Now he's not there. So that'll really help Aaron Judge if he has another great season. Remember, what was it, three seasons ago?
I think so.
Shohei won. Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, 2 seasons ago, Aaron Judge had the AL home run record and won the MVP. Oh, here we go. Strider.
Yeah.
And then Snell, because he'll sign with the Yeah, that could happen.
It could.
Wow. So, yeah, I was mentioning, I think a couple years ago, Judge won the MVP. Shohei was close. And I think and I was like the only Angel fan mentioning this with Aaron Judge was like, hey, he broke the home run record in the AL that stood forever. And it was in Texas, I think, by the way. And I was like, yeah, that's qualified for him to win the MVP, not Shohei. And I was taking a lot of heat for that. I always remember. But now, with Shohei in the NL, it's Judge's award to win for years, in my opinion. All right, what's your World Series matchup and results?
World Series matchup. Way into the future. I'll go. I'll go. Oh, that's a good one. Come back to me on that one.
Okay, I'm going to go the Dodgers over the Houston Astros, and I think it's going to be the Dodgers in 5 games. I just feel like they put all this talent together. We know they've had some postseason failures, and they're obviously better on paper than the Braves, than the Phillies, and then whoever else is out there on paper.
Where would the I guess where would the final game be, like, to clinch it?
It would be. Well, I'm.
Like does your winner win it at home or
No, it would be on the road. So the Dodgers, I would think, get home field advantage. They would have more wins than the Astros.
right?
So it would be in Houston, and I think it would be almost revenge for 2017 for LA this year. I can see all that working out perfect for them. So yeah, probably the Dodgers win. I'm sorry, maybe. Okay, the Dodgers would host Game 1 and Game 2. I would say, you know what? I'm gonna go crazy here, but I think the Astros steal Game 1 in LA, and then the Dodgers win 4 straight, meaning 1 at home, and then sweep in Houston. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah. I'm kind of sticking with the Houston train, kind of. I'm picking them for my AL, and then for my NL, we'll go Braves. I'm going to pick Braves to win, the series this year, 4 games, but they're going to have to, uh, win it pretty much on the road. So I'm going to say, well, we're going to say in 5 games. Yeah, 5 games. Majority of them on the road.
That would be cool.
Houston, Atlanta, but Atlanta will win.
It's almost like the oh god, it was almost like 2021. I think it was with the Braves beating the Astros. I forget in how many games, but that did happen. There was also some rule changes, as Jason mentions. I hope that would be great. The Orioles
That would be a good matchup.
I would love that because it would validate what the Orioles are doing. It really would. So I would love if that happened. I was going to mention there's some rule changes. The
Play clock or pitch clock.
the pitch clock is shorter. I think it went from 20 to 15 seconds for no runners on base. So the pitcher has to get rid of it faster. I remember the big bases from last year. No, I'm sorry. From 20, when runners are on base, the clock starting time will decrease from 20 to 18, but 15 will still remain for nobody on base. I'm sorry, that's right. What's the other thing? The Oakland A's were approved to move to Vegas, relocate in 2028. This is the final year, though, that they will, yeah, at least the lease in Oakland in 2024. But they have to find 3 seasons to play elsewhere. And it's just a mess.
Hey, at least the Chargers found a stadium. I know it wasn't the perfect.
Because it wasn't theirs.
Right, but I mean...
and then, yeah, they went to a little soccer stadium. Yeah. And because of rain, they had to wait a year because of the flooding of the construction site in Inglewood for SoFi. Yeah. So they had to play at that one little soccer stadium instead of 2 years. I think it was 3 years, surprisingly. The runner's lane at first base will be widened. So I hope that will cut off any collisions or obstructions. So we'll see about that. The visits to the mound will be reduced from 5 to 4.
Yeah, because no one really uses them all, right?
Not too much, I guess, from years before. Remember, you go out there whenever. Yeah. Teams will receive an extra mound visit in the 9th inning if they have used 4 prior to that point. So use them up, make sure. And then that 5th one, you'll see what happens. One I do like here, A pitcher who warms up at the start of the inning in the bullpen must face at least one batter. They may not be replaced during or after warm-ups. So I do like that rule there. There was one more I was going to mention, but I forgot what it was. Damn it. But those are the things. There's been managerial changes. The White Sox got for GM, I should say. Chris Getz, they hired within. The Red Sox also got Craig Breslow. Billy Epler was let go from the Mets. He was tarnished there. David Stearns becomes the GM there. Kim Negg, the female GM, left the Marlins. Managers. The San Francisco Giants went from Gabe Kapler to Bob Melvin. Bob Melvin only lasted one season with San Diego, by the way. The Mets went from Buck Showalter to Carlo Mendoza. Phil Nevin was let go by the Angels, or not brought back, I should say. Ron Washington, of course, the Angels' new manager. Cleveland Guardians, Francona retired, so Stephen Vogt, the former catcher, becomes a first-year manager. Again, the Padres, Bob Melvin left to go to the Giants, and Mike Schultz will be the manager of San Diego. Dusty Baker retired after so many years. The Astros now will have Joe Espada. He was a bench coach there forever. In a shocking move, the Cubs fired David Ross and got former manager of the Brewers, Craig Counsell. So he went up the highway. That was kind of a shock there. And the Brewers, losing Counsell, had to get Pat Murphy, who's been the bench coach there for a while. So that's all the news really there on the managerial front. I had to get that in before because it wasn't as many as last year. Remember, there was like 7 or 8 last year.
Yeah.
This year hasn't been that much movement. There's been some shocking ones with Counsell and Melvin.
So J-Max asking this question: did you hear Ricky Henderson interview?
Stolen bases? No, but I bet he's wanting more. He said these players ought to be ashamed when the title. Because last year, remember, Acuna Jr., I think he won the stolen base title with, I think it was 65 stolen bases.
Right.
Yeah, I feel that way too. And I thought last year, with the time change, the pitch clock, and the throw overs limited now to only 2 to first or wherever.
Right.
I felt like there should have been more movement. I mean, after 2 throwovers, that's almost a guarantee that you should go and try to steal a base. But again, it goes back to analytics where everybody just swings for the fences and you're just waiting for that big hit instead of making action happen on the base pass.
I would use analytics as a gauge, more so than like we're going to use them and that's it. Ride or die with them.
That's what I hate. And it's affecting common sense.
Yeah. I think it's good to have it as a gauge, but don't rely on it.
That's what I hate is like, because it's almost a free base when you think about it. There was a couple of players who took advantage of that last year. But I hope the Angels, with the less power they have in the lineup, I hope they go to that. Where they say, hey, we're going to run the young guys, get them on, get them over, get them in, create some havoc and score some runs and make it exciting. That's all you can hope for the Angels. What are you hoping for the Rangers this year? Do you think they could get back, to the playoffs, to the World Series? Like, what are your real expectations? Again, for me, I think the Angels probably win 69 games. They'll be worse than last year without Shohei. They only won 73 last year. But what's your real expectations for the Rangers? Like, what do you want to see from them?
right now, just make it to the playoffs. I think, a lot of the players that are still there, they want to run it back. They want to go back to the World Series, and see if they can win it all. And I want them to. I think they're just, you know, setting. I don't want to say a too high of expectation, but I think it's harder to win, any championship back to back.
Okay. We'll have more shows coming up. We'll definitely get to some surprises that may happen, some failures, who will think will surprise the world, and who will be just failures in the for this season coming up. It's almost to that hour point, or it
Yep.
is. I'm sorry, it is
Oh,
already.
you're good.
We'll get to final thoughts, Chris.
Yeah, thanks everyone for watching and tuning in. Should be a fun, baseball season, and hopefully everybody's team out there, has a good season, and we're here pretty much.
Yeah, not everybody. If you're a Yankee or Dodger fan.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Well, not really. All right, everybody. I guess my final thoughts. Good to be back on here. Again, you can see us every Saturday live here on Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. I like to think without the highlights, we're doing a little This Week in Baseball. I grew up with that every Saturday. Showing the week that was and interviews and all that. But a little bit of that here with on deck.
Cool.
So we're still in spring training, but again, 20 and 21st of this week coming up in March. If you're up at 5 a.m. there, 3 a.m. here,
Nope.
the Dodgers and the Padres in South Korea, Seoul, Korea there, for a 2-game series that counts for the regular season. And everybody gets back to exhibition spring training games, and then opening day will be Thursday the 28th for most. Let's just say that for now in March. Everyone take care. Thank you for watching On Deck. We'll see you next time.